What's up, everybody? It is Dankamyouknow, and I am back with another video. And what I'm going to be doing today is episode 2 of replying to and answering your questions and comments. And for this episode, we're going to be doing part 2 of the HP Omen most frequently asked questions. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into it. So let's start off this Q&A with the first question, and it's coming from Daniel Barunda, and they write, "Hi, I just bought a 30L, and it gets here Tuesday, and are temperatures a big issue?" So I wanted to start off the Q&A with this question because, first of all, it's super important, and I know the majority of content on my channel is focused on bringing temperatures down in an Omen, but I just want to start off by saying that if your Omen is in its stock configuration or you're looking to buy one, the temperatures are going to be a little bit warm, but they're actually going to be completely safe. So if you're just getting the computer and you think, oh, I have to throw all these fans in it, or it's not going to run properly, or it's going to heat up and it's going to melt, or anything like that, the computer in its stock form will be completely safe. The only ones you would probably want to look out for is if you have the 10700K processor or the 10850K and your system has the 3080 or the 3090. Those run pretty warm from the factory. I've seen those run anywhere from 80 to the low 90s while in game. So I would definitely keep an eye on your temperatures with those machines. But if your Omen's in its stock configuration, I would keep an eye on temperatures, but I wouldn't be anxious about it and checking them every couple seconds because temperatures will be safe. They'll just be a little bit warm. And that's going to segue us into our next question. So let's get into it. And that question comes from my man Harry, and he writes, "Great video, bro. Just a point for future episodes. What temperatures should your PC ideally run at, and any quick, easy steps to keep them low on a stock Omen?" So on a stock Omen, idle temperatures can vary quite a bit, but I wouldn't be surprised to see temperatures anywhere from 35 Celsius up to around 60 Celsius. It's really dependent on ambient temperature and the temperature of the room where your Omen is, and also where you live in the world. But I would be much more focused on what your in-game temperatures are while the computer is under load. And while in-game, I would expect to see temperatures anywhere from about 60 degrees Celsius, even up to around 85 Celsius is completely normal. And those temperatures are safe because a CPU won't even begin to throttle until about 95 to 100 degrees Celsius. And a couple ways to keep a stock Omen cool is going to be to remove the bracket that is at the top of the case. So on water-cooled Omens, there is a bracket at the top where the 120 millimeter radiator bolts to. But on the majority of Omens, they do not have this bracket because they have a stock air cooler. So with 2 screws, you can remove this bracket, which basically blocks all airflow coming upward and out of the PC. So I would highly recommend removing that, and it definitely creates some good airflow in your PC to get all that hot air that's trapped inside and getting it up and out of the PC. And my second tip is going to be to adjust your maximum processor state and your minimum processor state. Because when my Omen was in its stock configuration, I was a little bit worried about temperatures. So I dropped my maximum processor state down to 99% and my minimum down to 5%. And that actually solved just about any temperature issues I had at the time because I didn't have my CPU cooler that I had now. So changing it to 99% helped quite a bit, and I noticed almost zero performance loss. So it's a great way to decrease temperatures, and it won't really affect performance too much. At least I didn't see any performance drop maybe a couple FPS in game, but hardly even that. So I would start with those two and kind of see where you're at. And then I'll go ahead and link the videos where I talk about both of those subjects if you're curious on how to do those. All right, so moving on to the next question. It's going to be coming from Shashka, and they write, hey, I might buy a top mount fan. Should I place it as an intake or an exhaust? And I get this question quite a bit, but if you are planning on adding a 120 millimeter fan at the top of the case, I would recommend actually trying it both ways, because fans only blow air one way. And if you have it oriented so the fan at the top is blowing upward, then that's considered exhaust, and vice versa would be intake. And for my system in particular, I've noticed it actually works a little bit better as an exhaust fan, but I have had people report back that even while in intake mode, the PC seems to run a little bit cooler for them. So my best advice would be to try both of them, because actually removing the bracket and switching the fan from intake to exhaust only takes about maybe 5 minutes, and you just have to turn off the PC real quick. So I would actually try it in both configurations and see which works best for your system, because my PC is definitely different than every Omen users out there. I have different fans in different locations and a different CPU cooler. So I would see what works best for your system, but overall, I would say using it as an exhaust fan works the best. And the next question is going to be from, and I hope I pronounced this correctly, Jay Schnabel, or maybe Jay Schnabel 26. And they write, how many times a year do you clean out your HP Omen? So a very thorough cleaning where I remove the PC from power and I take off the side panel and I wipe everything down. I probably do that maybe every other month or so. And it really depends on how dirty the PC looks and how much dust is on the fans. So I'll maybe do a very thorough cleaning maybe every 2 months, but for just some light stuff, I actually keep this can of compressed air near my PC at all times. And then maybe every other week or once a week, I'll just take it and I'll go over my keyboard with it. I'll go over my mouse and I'll take off the side panel and I'll just blow it all around and get all the loose dust off there. So I always keep this nearby. So if I notice I have a bunch of beard hairs in my keyboard or just around the desk, I'll just go ahead and blow it off. And I'll leave a link to where I got this. I actually got these at Costco. It was a 6-pack. It was like $20 USD. But overall, you don't need to clean your PC that much. And I would say you might need to clean a little bit more if you have pets. I have 2 cats, but they actually don't come in my office that often, so they don't leave too much fur laying around. But I know a lot of people, their cats sleep on their PCs, so it really depends on how much dust you see, but a can of compressed air goes a long way. And our last question of the video is going to be coming from Not Even Filthy, and they write, have you won anything from the Omen rewards? I haven't won anything yet. And it's funny you mentioned that, because when I first got my computer, I would go into the Omen Command Center, and anytime I would launch the Omen rewards site, something would happen, and either my Omen Command Center would crash, or whenever I would try to see the entry details for that specific reward, I would get an error message, or I wasn't able to access it, or if I was, something weird would happen. So I kind of just gave up on looking at the rewards for the Omen Command Center. But it's funny because the owner of the HP Omen users Discord group, his name is Nick, and he's told me multiple times about, oh, there's this reward going on right now, and I just picked up this game, but whenever I try it on my side, it never seems to work. So maybe I'm doing something wrong, or maybe something's really buggy with the site, but I usually get an error that says, please check back later, the details for this reward aren't available, or something weird like that. So comment down below if you've had any luck with the Omen rewards, and if you've won anything, or just let me know your experience with it. Well, that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions or concerns, or if you want to be featured on a future episode, please comment down below. And if you like the video, please consider giving it a like rating. And if you're enjoying my content, please consider hitting the subscribe button. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see y'all in the next video.